Hello guys, this is Felipe from the Noob Trader, and today I just wanted to do a quick update video on where we are currently in crypto, particularly taking a look at the Bitcoin and maybe a bit at Ethereum, and just giving you guys who are beginners in the space a quick tip on what you can do when we're having pullbacks to then really determine whether we're going to be seeing um, continuation patterns to the upside during a kind of a bullish pattern or bullish scenario when we have a lot of bullish momentum, or whether it looks like we may be pulling back more. So let's take a look at the chart here. So on Bitcoin at the moment, I'm looking at the weekly chart actually, so looking purely at very long-term time frames, because ultimately, right, if we're crypto bulls at the moment, what we want to see, at least in terms of Bitcoin price, is that we eventually crack or revisit these all-time highs and break through that, right? So at around 60,000, 64,000, whatever the price range is that you want to talk about. So obviously we had the strong rebound here at 30,000 on the week chart, and we had a pretty much almost like a month and a half, right? 7 weeks straight of bullish momentum here. Yes, we had that one, slight hammer candle here, but we got all the way back up to about 51,000. And then on this particular, on the 8th week, we actually touched 53,000 or so before we got rejected and we saw those liquidations. But overall, I personally was still being pretty bullish on the crypto market there. And the main reason is because both from a fundamental standpoint, which I've talked about other videos, I still think that crypto holds a lot of positive things at the moment, just what's going on with the layer one protocols and the general space, how much money and free money is coming into the crypto space at the moment. People are going to jump in on that. Okay, so I don't think from a fundamental standpoint, we need to be worried about crypto. The advancements that are being made technologically are really strong. And at the same time, I think people are looking for ways to make money right now and are willing to take risks still. So crypto is perfect for that. So it's just the perfect bullish environment, in my opinion. But also from a technical standpoint, what you guys can really start to use is the simple Fib tool. Okay. I don't want to use this video to go into detail as to like how theoretically the Fibonacci works. Okay. The whole concept is, I'll draw it out again here. The whole concept is that the easiest way to use it is that when you have a very strong move upwards in the market of anything, whether it's crypto, whether it's gold, whether it's stocks or whatever it may be, when you have this kind of bullish momentum here and then you start seeing pullbacks, you can use the Fibonacci levels to basically determine where we could potentially see a rebound. And it can also help us determine how bullish or bearish we should be based on how far back we're pulling back in terms of the Fibonacci levels, right? So what you need to do is, if you're on TradingView, you simply use the tool, right, the Fib tool here, and you're drawing from the bottom so basically the start of the trend, of the bull trend, so all the way up here, and you're going to the top of the initial bullish momentum or run. Okay, so it was from the bottom here all the way up to here. Okay, so there we are. Okay, so it started around 29,200 and went up to about 53,178. Now, typically in crypto, as I've talked about in another channel before, depending on the asset, so whether it's like the large assets like Bitcoin or Ethereum, or whether it's like really small assets, you'll notice that a lot of particular assets, right, or projects will bounce off certain levels on the Fib regularly during a bull run or also a bearish downturn. Okay. And what we clearly saw here with Bitcoin is that we got a very, very strong rebound or bounce off the zero point 0.5 Fib level, which equates to about $41,100. Okay. Now, um, there's an entire theory around how this Fib levels are basically, made up, or how the Fib tool actually works from a theoretical standpoint. I don't want to go into that. To simplify things as much as possible, though, typically with Bitcoin, you're going to see it in a lot of different scenarios, okay? Bounces off the 0.5 level on Bitcoin are very, very common with these kind of general upswings here. And when you get that strong bounce off the 0.5, you typically tend to see a lot more bullish follow through, okay? Um, why does this work? There's a lot of reasons for that. The main reason just simply being because a lot of people are watching these fib levels. A lot of traders are watching it. So when we're seeing a point, essentially almost a 50% pullback in the price of Bitcoin, when we have one of these run-ups, demand is coming in, okay? And this is pretty consistent throughout if you look at various patterns throughout Bitcoin's price history. That's what we got here, and we got a really, really nice strong follow through. As you can see, though, throughout a lot of the major assets, we're seeing very, very similar bounces at around the 0.5 level. If we're looking at Ethereum here, we can use the fib tool as well. And we can see, actually with Ethereum, we got a bounce at the 0.618, which is another very, very common bouncing level, okay? With crypto, especially like as you start going down to smaller and smaller projects, Ethereum is still, second largest, but smaller than Bitcoin. But here on this particular week, 2 weeks ago, we also got a pretty strong bounce off the 0.5 level on the fib. And now it looks like we may be continuing the trend upwards. Okay, so you guys can definitely be using these fib levels to really determine where we can see potential rebounds once we have a pullback, which of course, pullbacks are super common in crypto, especially now with how leveraged the market is, how how much uh, how much volatility there is in the market right now, just in general, with people buying and freaking out and selling, and just the amount of kind of inexperienced traders in the market. You can really use the FIP level in a very positive way to determine, yeah, if we're going to really be seeing more bullish momentum, and you can even use it as a way as to like place your buy orders, right? For example, if you're looking at Bitcoin and we know that typically there tends to be strong bounces at the point 0.5 on various Bitcoin charts, then you can place buy orders around 42,000 so that when price pulls back, it hits. Yes, you're taking a risk, but you also kind of know throughout price history that other buyers are probably looking at this level, and then you maybe have a good opportunity to then actually cash in once the price actually does reverse and rebound and continues on upwards. Okay. Last thing I just want to say on this particular video, okay, so obviously we can use the fib to determine where, we may see potential rebounds once price pulls back. We often have pullbacks in crypto as we have bullish runs and bearish runs, right? So I guess the key question now is well, how much higher can we really go now that we've seemed to have got that strong bounce and broken past this relative high of 53,000, where right now, we haven't closed yet to be fair, but right now we're at a level of 54,000. How much higher can we go? Again, first thing you guys want to always do, I've reiterated in previous videos, make sure we're paying attention to the total market cap. We're reapproaching the 2.5 level, right? You can even see the Fib works on the overall market cap too. Where did we bounce? The 0.5 level, okay? But now we're reapproaching this all-time high market cap level. We're testing it again for time number 3, right? This is going to be a very, very key moment, right? Are we going to get rejected again, or are we going to finally break through? A triple top like that or 3 rejections is pretty strong, okay? So that's just going to cement this resistance level even more. So let's really see how it all plays out, but that's what we really want to look for. And the same when it comes to the actual individual asset, right? We want to see, okay, now that we're continuing, it looks like we're pretty much clear sailing until this potential resistance range starting at around 58,000. What is price going to do once we hit those levels? Okay, so I'm kind of looking at those price levels next. I do think that just given how well we've rebounded off this fib level here, though, that the momentum seems to be really swinging even more so now into the bulls' hands. Same when you start looking at other asset classes, we're seeing very similar patterns. Would I be trying to buy Bitcoin as we're reapproaching this level? Personally, not for me. I don't think it makes sense. If anything, as we continue to see Bitcoin's price go up towards revisit potentially these all-time highs, what happens when people start taking profits at the all-time highs or traders? That money will start going into smaller cap projects, as we've talked about before. So maybe Ethereum has already moved a bit too close to its all-time high here again, but this is where starting to look at smaller projects again maybe makes some sense. Look at some projects. Look how much further away certain altcoin projects here are that you maybe really like. ICX actually has had a huge move recently, but certain projects that you maybe really like, even Litecoin, maybe so a lot further away from their all-time highs than these larger cap projects like Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? So when people start taking profits, now that these assets are really close to their all-time highs, a lot of liquidity may shift right into these smaller cap projects. So I'd be trying to potentially if you're trying to make some short-term money, those types of projects. That's just my personal opinion. I wouldn't personally try to get into Bitcoin at these levels until maybe we actually saw a breakthrough and an actual confirmation that we're breaking through this all-time high, and now we're trying to see how much higher we're going to go. Maybe, in my opinion, that's a better time to actually take some risk into buying a Bitcoin position, just because, once you're going on price discovery mode, we know how crypto goes. Before you know it, you think it's impossible for once you break an all-time high for price to double, and it does. Okay, so that would be my 2 cents on that. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, please consider giving us a thumbs up. If you have a question, leave a comment, and I'll definitely answer. And let's talk in the next video.